being away from making the videos for a bit, 2 days I think, made me realize how weird they are. Um, Justified reason for not making any videos is that I went camping. I went camping in the Pennines. I took my bike and I just drove. And I thought I needed it, but you know, secretly the entire time I knew I didn't. It was fun and it was good and it helped us think, but it made me realize how much work I have to do, you know? How much effort I gotta put in. Maybe like sort of it exposed how little I'm actually doing. But I know that's also like a death sentence. Mind you, I have been reading a lot. And I think that the amount I've been reading was like quite impressive. You know, I'm talking like a book every day or 2 days. You know, and that wasn't for too long, but I'd sort of just speed ran a couple of books for about a week or two. But now I'm in a position where I'm like, you know, I'm in a dangerous position because March is coming around, and so is April, and then May's coming around, and I mean, I know I've got time, but it's the idea that when you don't organize and space out what you have to do, it's you know, it's a bit of that a head fuck. I think I'm really tired from the camping. I mean, I'm really tired. I could go back to bed right now, but I can't get it out of my mind the fact that there's stuff to be done, you know. And I think something that is annoying is like the lack of writing. The focus on reading was good, but I'm really bothered by the fact that there was a lack of writing. But at the same time, I think I have to sit here and make this video about giving yourself some grace, right? Because I said I wouldn't write for this amount of time. I've got all the ideas written down. You know, I know exactly what I was going to go and tackle. But I don't know how it is with you lot. I feel like, to me, when I'm writing a story, if I'm not writing it constantly and I'm not always engaging with it, I'll I'll fall out of touch with like its internal. You know, I'll not understand its motives, or like as though the story's another person. You know, I'm not really gonna understand it deeply, so I have to go back in and get to know it again. Um, but if I write and I'm writing for like a week or 2 weeks straight, you know, I feel as though I can get a pretty good draft out in 2 weeks. I think it's just that distance. I'm trying to recognize that it's in fact just the distance. Nothing's changed. Realistically, plan hasn't changed. It's just that well, I've got about About 2 months and 2 weeks, pretty much. So I'm thinking, well, I can't slack, but I think that there's a difficulty in giving yourself some grace, but also really wanting to do something at the same time. And you can mix that in with the sort of regularness of what it's like to be just a normal person, right? Who is a bit lazy, who likes to relax, who, isn't going to put like 1,000% effort in every day, or even right now. But I'm in the mindset to put 1,000% effort in. Just I feel as though that laziness is clashing with it. I think I know what I have to do today. I gotta organize myself. Um, I think I've really got to organize myself, and then after that, I think I can just go balls to the wall and just keep hitting away at it. And the scary thing is the fact that like I haven't started on the Billy story, and that was something I really, really did want to do. Um, I haven't touched it in a while. All the ideas are there. Now when I think about it, genuinely, it's just about that distance. I thought I was gonna end this video 3 minutes ago, but I realize now I'm sort of my mind's working. That's really it. Just get your mind working. Just get your mind thinking. So I'm remembering about the cyclical nature. I'm remembering about the story beats that I had in my head, and they're also coming back, and I know I can write on top of that. I know what my opening line was gonna be, but do I write that now? I feel as though I don't. I feel as though I don't, because right now I think I'm gonna do a couple of things. Manage to sort myself out. I don't know if I'm gonna leave the house today or not. It's Thursday. Um, if I do, I'll be going to the library, but um, should I go to the library if I can just stay at home? I think there's also like an attitude thing. So I think it might be best off if I just put the speaker on, and you have to. For me at least, you have to put yourself in a mindset to these things. Some Speaking from someone who's like highly emotional. You know, I'm a really emotional person to a point where like most of my days I'll just pretty much go by what I'm feeling like, and what I feel has so much of a big part on the day, on my life. And I know that can be negative, right? I'm giving it far too much attention. You give it what it deserves, but if you give it far too much attention, it'll just take over. And we're saying that, I think a mindset is something that you really do have to just sort of be aware of and create sometimes, you know, and create, because bought something. Um, because if you don't create that mindset, like the way things are now, I can recognize it's not the sunniest day, but as you can tell from the video, the light's only really coming from one direction, and the rest of the room's a bit dark, even though I have the light on. And I'm feeling a little bit weak because of that. I think like I'm really letting that get to my mind. But okay, I know there's a couple of things I can do today. I think the Yeti is on my mind, and it's sort of you know. So I think I'm gonna do a couple of things with that. It, I think that's the thing with days in general. So right now I'm thinking about a whole bunch of ideas, and it could either be a good day or it could be a bit of a lackluster one. You know, it all just sort of depends on how you look at it. I could obviously ease myself back into it. I could finish a book right now, you know. I can knuckle down for a couple hours and just start reading, but it's not the plan, is it? There's definitely some work to be done. I think there could be work done writing wise, but it's tricky because I don't think I've got myself in a stable position to just start writing. I think that's also a key part of things is stability, right? Not feeling like you're going insane, not feeling like you've got to catch up to things in your head. I don't feel like I've got to catch up to things in my head. So I think what I got to do first is catch up to those things and then figure it out, figure out what I'm going to do. If I know where I've really put it, if it hasn't fallen on the floor, flew away, or under the laptop, wherever the hell it's went, I don't know where it's went. I had a little slip of paper that was like, here's the things what we're going to do. And just plenty of stuff on it. And I think as long as I get those things done on the paper, as long as I try to get some stability and give myself a little bit of grace, but just sort of, recognize that love, come back at it a little bit, and even if it's been a while, absorb all the things I've been reading, because the things I've been reading I think have had some sort of a deep impact. They've been really good books, really good stories, really good methods of approaching things, very creative ideas. So I think I'm gonna just try to absorb that, come back at it with a bit of hunger, but a bit of balance, not get too hungry and wear myself out too soon, and just hope that for the rest of this week that things will be fine. Tomorrow I'll get a lot of work done before I gotta be somewhere, and same on Saturday I gotta be somewhere later in the night. So hopefully I'll just have a couple of good mornings, and then the week after on the Monday, because Sunday I'm pretty much not gonna do anything. On the week after on the Monday, it's March, right? It's March. It's spring. And I know there's like a deep thing in my heart right now to sort of get out there because it's spring and because it's, it's adventure and all that. But that's why I think I had to take that camping trip, is because I had to get that little sense of adventure out. I had to express it because it seems to be like eating up inside. The trip I did in France a while back, and a whole bunch of other camping experiences, they always sort of sit in my head, and I do love nature, I do. But I wonder how from a city boy's perspective, the cling to nature can be a distraction. Whereas if you look at somebody who's from the country, how that might be how inside the everyday could be less of a distraction, even if it's with the equal or even more of a love for plant life, for animal life. I don't want to let the summer distract, but I also don't want to distract myself from the fact that life is something you've got to enjoy. It's all a difficult balance. It's a tricky thing. This living. So I'm gonna go have a crack at it, see what I can do, and hopefully not beat myself up about it. Just gotta, it's like going back in the gym, isn't it? You just gotta get yourself moving a little bit. Eventually you'll catch up.